What's up, traders? It's your boy Vincent, aka Vin Boss, and I'm back with the daily top analysis. Now, with that being said, beautiful traders, let's get into what is happening in the markets. But before we get to what happened and what to expect, now, traders, with that being said, remember we had a buy from this level to the upside. We wanted to see this top being broken down, and instead we did have this, and then after this we did put a break even here. It was 1:9. Excuse me for that. It was 1:9, and then from this level we wanted to see the continuation come up and break this top, but instead the break even we trailed our stop, and then we got small profit. Remember, small profit, break even, small loss, and big win. Those are the four results you should have, not big loss. I don't want big loss. So with that being said, the market came down like this, reached the monthly liquidity, and after reaching the monthly liquidity, we did have tried to buy here, put a break even in here, came down. Because it was Friday, we didn't want to force things, and I was expecting, as the market opened, I was expecting to see, after seeing this gap here, I was expecting to see the market come down, bounce, and then so that we can get here and continue to the upside. But what we totally missed was the change of structure, which usually happens when you trade the monthly time frame or the monthly liquidity with this candles. So we always follow the trading rules. So now, what happens now? What do I want to see? What I want to see on the DXY is if this can come up to retest here the liquidity from below, or even better from these levels above here, we would be looking to break down this monthly break of structure, which is the red line at 97.76. Only then we would be looking for selling opportunities. This can also happen, but if we do break here without a pullback, this would also be a fantastic place to look for a pullback to retest this level, and then a continuation to the downside. Now, with that been happening, this is the 4-hour time frame. Let's go over to see what the euro and the dollar has in store for us. So traders, with the euro and the dollar, very simply put, we did have a sell from here. Didn't very much make enough. It is inverse correlation with the DXY. So we did put here, it was not 1:9 as in the DXY, but it was 1:4 or 1:5. There it was a small profit. So with that being said, we've had this move to the upside. This was supposed to make a pullback and then a continuation. Instead, it made a new high, which gave us suspicions on Thursday and Friday. And as soon as the market opened, we went straight to reach our monthly change of structure, which symbolizes what I have been telling you about the DXY right now. If you go and check, we are here at the monthly liquidity, and what might happen at the monthly liquidity zone is we might start to see a pullback to retest here, look for buying opportunities to the upside. Now that the war is over, the dollar is losing most of its strength, as it was, of course, fundamentally. The strength of the dollar was fundamentally driven. Look at this past few months. This was the strength in the dollar from March, from February. This is the strength in the dollar from March. And in April, as soon as the war ended, we had this, and we had this. We're already invalidating this. Either way, starting from the last part of the month, we are going to have buying opportunities. We are going to be looking at buying opportunities now that we are 100% sure that the dollar on its own is now weak, And with that being said, this was January, of course. The wave in January showed that there was weakness in the dollar, and as soon as the war started, everything started going to the downside in February and in March. So everything, remember, if you don't remember this, go back to all the videos that was uploaded on February and on March. You would also know that I did mention that the strength on the dollar is purely based on what? It is purely based on the fundamentals and it being a safe haven asset. So if you have been following me on a daily basis, you already know that we were buying strong on the dollar because of the safe haven assets. So with that being said, this has now came to the end right here as soon as the market had the peace talks. So back where we started, the dollar losing its strength. If the peace do, and I want to mention this and emphasize this, if the peace do continue to hold, the dollar might be weak. But if it doesn't hold, then the dollar might go back to being a safe haven and we might go back to the dollar. So that is the euro dollar for us. What I expect to see, let me remind you again, I expect to see this retest from here or even deeper from this level, but any scenario from here and here is directly in correlation with the dollar and its own weakness going into the end of April. So for the next 2 weeks of April, we will be trying to find opportunities where we sell the dollar. So now we do have a change of structure, right? We do have a change of structure. So we are now going to sell as opposed to buying the dollar. So we are now going to sell. So with that being said, let's go to the pound and the dollar, which is very interesting to see. The pound was early to react to the strength in the dollar weakness. So with the pound, the change that I was referring to, remember this was also a beautiful 6 setup to the downside, and we did make like 1:7 from here up until here, and it was not 1:20 as we already expect. So we called 1:7 a small profit, and this is also evident in here. Let's firstly, before we get into what we are already discussing in the 4-hour time frame, this was the strength in the pound in January. This is February. The dollar came in and started bullying other currencies to the downside because of its safe haven assets in terms of catalyst, war, or pandemics like COVID-19. I remember telling you guys that we did make money in 2019. So this is part of the journey of the dollar being a safe haven asset. So this is exactly what we did receive again and again and again. And here, this is when the market started to give us a bit more signs, like this one, a new low, new high, and it reached. I remember last week I did mention that the pound would not be one of those currency pairs that we would be trading in as soon as it reached this level right here of the monthly liquidity. I don't know if I said this on the free YouTube channel or I did say this on the real account traders community, but overall this is exactly what is expected. And with that being said, we are going to see we expect to see a pullback and then a continuation to the upside. Let me just determine what at what level would I see a pullback, if it is possible. For now, what I see is if we do not return anywhere near here, we might be going here to 261 before and then return for buying opportunities. Anyway, we are looking for buying opportunities, but I would definitely like to see this returning today or tomorrow down to this previous monthly break of structure in the pound and the dollar, and then look for buying opportunities to the upside because we are now buyers. The strength of the US dollar was mostly based on the safe haven asset or advantage over other currency pairs during the war. So with that being said, this means that we are going to look for buying opportunities only. We are not looking for selling opportunities as for that matter. And that is it with the euro, the pound, and the dollar. Let's go straight to the US dollar and the Japanese yen on the free YouTube channel. But before we do, remember, this is what we want to see. Oh, this was the testimony from a trader who I am dealing with on WhatsApp. So this is what they saw, and this is all the results from our signal. Because one thing is having traders that come in and make money and show you the signals that they are taking. Because, listen to what he's just saying. Hi, I took all your signals. I'm just glad I found a real trader after losing money in the markets. Now, that shows what we are doing. So to join the real account traders community, what you have to do is register your trading account under the exclusive XNS link, which will be left under the video description. Verify your account detail after the registration and fund your own account with the minimum of $100 or more, and then send proof of registration to me on Telegram, which is Vinboss Free Signals, or the link to the Telegram channel will be left under the video description also. So back to the charts. I have to remind you again, what I'm expecting to see is, and then a continuation to the upside. This is exactly what I want to see. If this does not happen, if we do not get and we keep on going, we will find this in lower time frames a way to go to the higher ups and reach this level right here. So with that being said, traders, that's it with the pound and the dollar. Let's go straight over to the US dollar and the Japanese yen. And traders, with the US dollar and the Japanese yen, very simply put, we were expecting buying opportunities from here to the upside. And this 14, before anything else, I would like to remind us of this 14-day liquidity. This 14-day liquidity, I did mention that it sparks more selling pressure than the buying pressure, of course. And with that being said, this was more of like a change of structure from here, and we did enter here because of the monthly liquidity we are still in. We do have a break. If we did trail our stop to this level, if we do get there, we might get 1:4 here, but that's fine because we are not emotionally attached to this. This is what we would like to see. Even though the US dollar is weak, I think the Japanese yen is also weak because we are profiting from the Japanese yen in the real account traders community. Let me show you. This is the signal that was given in the real account traders community. This is the Aussie and the Japanese yen together with uh the results, current results right now. It's still going to the upside, and this is a beautiful setup to the upside if you are in this, but only for those who are registered will get this kind of trading signals. Because in here, because it's free, we are only dealing with euro, DXY, pound dollar, US dollar CAD, and US dollar Japanese yen. So that's sort of like uh, the minimum to showcase our skill. So remember, we did want to see this go beyond here, but we didn't as far as go to that level. We got 1:6 from this level, from buying here and coming back from this, and then we are here. We might get 1:4 from here. It's still fine. It doesn't matter because we do not want to force trade anything else. Remember, the 4-hour chart is the minimum that we analyze with, but the minimum that we are taking signals at is the 30 minutes chart. So we are not zooming in on the 30 minutes chart. We always zoom in with the real account traders community. So with that being said, to get signals like this ones, please make sure that you join, you like, you subscribe, and you become part of the real account traders community. So that's it. But before we go, I would like us to remind ourselves what I was expecting from this when we did the deep dive 14 days ago. So traders, what we do have today in the US dollar and the Japanese yen is we do have the 14-day liquidity right above where the price usually is. And why is that? Because the previous 14-day liquidity, the previous 14 days opened higher than the close, so which technically just gives us more of a bearish momentum on this US dollar and the Japanese yen. So with that being said, beautiful traders, what we do have right now is I do expect to see this wave liquidity, excuse me. I do expect to see this wave liquidity bounce, or this monthly liquidity bounce here. The monthly liquidity is 157.96 and the wave liquidity is 158.26. Both these levels are fantastic for buying setups to go into the upside. Now, I did explain to this, but I would like to go back again and explain this. This 14-day liquidity that we have above here, it is only if you are looking for selling opportunities, which entirely shows that everything was here. After we've tested the liquidity, we broke above it, we kept coming down, broke above it, we're coming down right now. But if it does take us out and give us 1:4, that is still perfect. That is better than nothing. 1:4, it's better. So we will go to the upside, and this is what I expect to see. But if we do go below here, a pullback will be imminent to test this monthly liquidity, and then continuation to the downside. This is the US dollar and the Japanese yen. This is what I would like to see, and this is what I expect, and that's the trade that I'm still in. So let's go to the last but not least, the US dollar and the Canadian dollar. So with the US dollar, Canadian dollar, I did mention before that I would not very much touch this if it doesn't come to this or this. We did have a small loss from here because we didn't break even. The market closed in and it just came down as hard as it is right now. We had a small loss from here. And what do we expect from this small loss? I do expect to see this bounce from here and then go to the upside, or even bounce from here and then go to the upside. This is the wave liquidity. This is the monthly liquidity. But you have to think about it. If the dollar is truly going to lose its own gains, how can we use this as this? Is it possible, or do we just wait? Preferably, I would personally wait, but I know following the market price can tempt us to go in. So if you are going in, you are looking for something like this and then a continuation to the downside. This is exactly what you'll be looking for if you are selling. Now, I want to remind you again before going out that registering your account is free with XNS. You do not pay anyone else any money or even the subscription fee. All you have to do is register under the exclusive XNS link that is left under the video description. Verify your account details, fund the minimum of $100 or more, and then you send proof of registration to the Telegram link channel there that you will find on the video description, and then you send it to me, the admin, and then you get started. If you don't know how to register, you can just go to the Telegram channel, talk to me, I can help you register step by step. It is important because you guys are missing signals like this. This is the NZD and the Japanese yen. So with this Kiwi and yen, we were biased to the upside, and this is the results. We are now biased to the upside, and this is a beautiful setup also to the upside with the Kiwi and the Japanese yen. So if you're not in the real account traders community, you are missing out on a lot. This is the US dollar and the Canadian dollar. Back to this, we are going to see what this means. If you get this would be okay, but I personally, I would definitely leave this one out until the month end, up unless the next 2 or 3 days we see a close up, somewhere like this, and then we see the 14-day liquidity becoming here or here, and then price comes in, retest, and then a continuation to the downside. So with that being said, this is the US dollar and the Canadian dollar. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure you like, you subscribe, and you tell someone who you think should definitely know about the channel that explains every move like this. So from me to you guys, bye bye and have a fantastic trading day.